I'm gonna show you how you can transform this into this. Let's smear some goo. One of the key problems you need to address when painting furniture is dealing with whatever the previous finish is on that piece of furniture, and a lot of times you may not know what that is, particularly if it's finished from a factory and it's got like a sprayed factory finish or whatever. So in order to deal with that, you want to do some comprehensive prep out, and what prep does is readies the surface to take whatever finish paint you are going to be putting on the piece of furniture. When prepping out trim and doors and furniture, which are all very similar, the rule of thumb is you want it to be clean, dry, and dull. Clean just means there's no schmutz on it. Dry means it's not wet from any cleaners or anything like that. And then dull just means you've knocked the finish down, so you're not dealing with a super glossy surface. One of the best steps in that direction is sanding it. That's kind of where I start off on most of my prep out, and you're watching me sand this particular stool right now. I'm using 150 grit sandpaper. I'm sanding with the grain of the wood, if that's applicable to you and your piece of furniture you're painting. But that is what I like to do, and it works pretty well. You can use 100 or 150 grit. That generally roughs up the surface enough to get just about anything to bond to it, depending, again, on what that previous finish has been. So, now that the stool has been sanded and wiped down, it is ready to take the primer that I'm going to put on it, and this may be where our paths diverge in our furniture painting process. If you are trying to paint a piece of furniture that has been stained and polyurethaned, or you know has been painted with an oil-based product, you're going to need to use a different primer than I used in this process. My preferred method, if I'm doing something like that, is to use Bin Shellac Primer, and I did a whole video on how to use that product, so check it out up here. But anyway, back to this project. I'm going to be using PrepRite Pro Block Primer, and it's a P6 gray primer because I'm doing a big color shift. So I'm going to paint it with this P6 primer. When you're laying down the primer, it's really just you're going to lay it down the same way you're going to lay down the finish paint. With furniture, you want to go with the grain, just like you're painting trim. And I'm going to paint generally from the top down, do the outside legs, and then wrap it into doing the supporting rungs. Now that my super sweet gray primer is dry, it is time for my favorite part of the process, which is laying down top coats. To me, this is a super chill process because I'm comfortable working with the products that I have chosen, which is Emerald Urethane Trim Enamel from Sherwin-Williams. That's my go-to trim paint currently. And then also another product that's really popular for this sort of thing is Advanced from Benjamin Moore. People get really good results with that as well on furniture, kitchen cabinets, trim work, all that stuff. Anyway, I'm laying down Emerald Urethane with a Corona Vegas, which is my favorite trim brush that I use all the time at work, so I know exactly how it works with this product. So I was using 3 different colors on this stool, and I laid down the black first. I needed that to be completely done before I started doing my accent colors, and I ended up doing 3 coats of the black. I picked a pattern that I thought would work well for this particular piece of furniture, and then once the black was done and completely cured out, I started doing my accent colors on the rungs. And the blue and the green took a lot of coats, even with the P6 primer. I think I ended up doing 4 coats on the blue, and I like 5-ish coats on the green. So yeah, I knew I was gonna have to do multiple coats of all these products, so I just picked a pattern that I know I could replicate and do that consistently, and I just kept doing it until I thought I got it into a good spot. That's gonna do it for me, folks. Until next time, y'all take it easy, work smart, and have a good one. Peace.
Amazing.